2 minutes till broadcast. One minute till broadcast.
What's up, guys? Welcome into it, man. We have a lot to talk about today. It is a full day of shenanigans. We have the State of the Union last night. We have some breaking news going on today, lawsuits, and a live feed right now with Vice President J.D. Vance and Dr. Oz with Medicare and Medicaid services that are having a live broadcast or a live press conference. So we will go to that as soon as we come here on the air. No guest today. You and I chit in the chat, man, breaking it all down. We got a lot to get to. Like it out, share it out, leave that comment, break the algorithm. Let's do this thing for your midweek celebration. Hang tight.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin transmission.
Broadcasting from the heart of the nation, the next generation in conservative talk radio. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Oh, yes, it is. Boom, here we are, ready to rock and roll for a Wednesday, my friends. Welcome into it. It is the Voice of Reason. I'm Andy Hooser. So much to talk about and so little time to do it as usual. The State of the Union last night, bigly. Let me tell you, it was huge and bigly.
And I think we're going to make it bigly.
I know you've heard a lot of the breakdown throughout the day today. We will touch on some of that as we go through the program today. Where are we at now post the 250th birthday State of the Union address for 2026? What does that do to set the landscape for the electoral season of the year? Also, there's some breaking news going on today regarding a press conference happening live right now as we speak. We will jump into momentarily. We also have some lawsuits going on with different attorneys general across the nation suing Netflix. What the heck is that all about? Election season special elections from last night and so much more. So there is plenty to talk about. No guest today. You and I chit in the chat doing a thing, staring at each other from across the bar and figuring out the solutions of the societal issues of the day today. That's what we do at this program, as we do it every single day.
Do it live!
Right here on the program, so welcome into it. It is the Voice of Reason. I'm Andy Hooser, broadcasting out of the heart of the nation in Wichita, Kansas, on our flagship. But we are all over the country with so many great radio affiliates across the nation doing our thing, especially for a Wednesday.
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
It is Wednesday, my dudes, and I don't want to waste any time because it is going on right now.
What's trending today?
There is a live press conference happening in the White House in Washington, and I love this because after the State of the Union from President Donald Trump last night and talking about what we're going to do, what we want to do, ending some of the fraud across the nation in action. I think voters want action, which is exciting. That leads to a press conference immediately the day after. J.D. Vance, Vice President, speaking right now. Dr. Oz just wrapping up his speech on fraud, and they're going to take some questions here.
President, first, can you talk about the legal authority under which the federal government pauses legally obligated funds under mandatory funding from Congress, such as Medicaid? And secondly, if you can tell us...
All right, first off, while they're asking the question, so those that don't know, the press conference is an announcement from what we've heard here with Dr. Oz, Vice President J.D. Vance, is that now the federal government, and especially the Departments of Medicare and Medicaid Services that send social program money to states, will be frozen for states that have fraud, because we're not going to tolerate fraud, as Donald Trump said in his State of the Union address last night. And that announcement happening today, we're not doing it any longer.
More because I just don't know more on the question of the legal authorities. I mean, inherent in Congress's
a signing of the administration actually, we're the ones who spend this money. Congress appropriates it. We're the ones who actually make sure this goes to the people it ought to go to. And inherent in that is making sure that it only goes to the people that Congress says that it should go to. We shouldn't be sending money to fraudsters. We should not be sending money to companies that are committing mass fraud. We shouldn't be sending money to anybody that's trying to defraud the American taxpayer. So I know, Oz and his team, he's got the best team, I think, in healthcare anywhere in the private or the public sector. It's one of the great things I love about working with Dr. Oz is he's brought great people along with him, and congratulations on this. But I feel quite confident we have the legal authority to do this. And again, I'd reiterate, we don't want to do this. We don't want to be in a situation where the state of Minnesota is being so careless with federal tax dollars that we have to turn the screws on them a little bit so that they take this fraud seriously. You heard Dr. Oz say this. Tim Walz could call him, could call me, could call anybody in the administration, and we've given him 60 days to respond to this. All we need the governor and the administration in Minnesota to do is something quite simple, which is to show that before you give Medicaid funds to somebody, you're taking seriously whether they provided the services that they say that they're providing. And the fact that there are so many people handing out millions and billions of dollars of federal Medicaid money without even confirming that they're doing the thing that they say that they're doing, it's a disgrace. It's a defrauding of the American taxpayer, and we're stopping it.
All right, so if you remember last night, that's Vice President J.D. Vance again. That is live right now in Washington, D.C. If you remember last night that President Donald Trump announced that J.D. Vance will be heading up some of the fraud investigation. Now, this is, I'm going to say, Democrats are going to get mad at me. This is kind of the same responsibility that Joe Biden gave to Kamala Harris when she became the border czar, and we see how well that one worked out for her. She didn't even visit the border. I actually visited it one time on her way to California for a vacation or going home or something, and that was about it. Didn't do anything with it, and it just kind of fell off the map. It just, oh yeah, well, I was supposed to do that? Totally forgot. OMG, I totally forgot about that. We have to reflect on the significance of the passage of time, because the significance of the passage of time makes us forget about things during the passage of time that's so significant. So therefore, we totally didn't do any enforcement of immigration policy. Would be, I know. By the way, she said she's planning on running for president again, potentially in 2028. So you can see how well that one's going to work out. I'm sure she feels really big about that one.
I'm a big kid now.
Making her own decisions, by golly, running for president in 2028. But unlike that aspect, President Trump last night at the State of the Union giving J.D. Vance the responsibility to handle some of this fraud, and right out of the gate, not wasting any time. This is huge, in my opinion, because this is big for Republicans, showing that we are acting, or at least the Trump administration is acting. And when we hear about billions upon billions upon billions of dollars of fraudulent, wasteful money in one state, and that's not even the bigly state. If we could look at California, if we have New York, if we have Chicago, if we have other areas where there's fraud going on as well, we're sick and tired of our wasteful money going out, in our taxpayer money going to waste and fraud. And we could, as Donald Trump said, potentially balance the budget. President Trump talking about that last night at the State of the Union.
But when it comes to the corruption that is plundering, it's plundering America. There's been no more stunning example than Minnesota, where members of the Somali community have pillaged an estimated $19 billion from the American taxpayer. Oh, we have all the information. And in actuality, the number is much higher than that. And California, Massachusetts, Maine, and many other states are even worse. This is the kind of corruption that shreds the fabric of a nation, and we are working on it like you wouldn't believe. So tonight, although started 4 months ago, I am officially announcing the war on fraud to be led by our great Vice President J.D. Vance.
Boom. So that announcement last night, right out of the gate. We're seeing a press conference today. We're seeing the stoppage of the fraud. We're seeing the freezing of funds going to different states that we'll get to in just a moment, because Dr. Oz was speaking prior to us coming live here on the program, and we did get a couple minutes of that clip. So we'll break down exactly what they're doing. But this is politically more significant than the actual details, because we're going to get the fraud. We're going to stop the fraud. We're going to expose the fraud. We want to see that happen. Politically speaking, the fact that we're seeing action done immediately. We're not waiting around. It's not a 10-year plan. Oh, I totally forgot that was happening. The whole Kamala Harris, the significance of time crap that we see from them, where politicians like to just talk a lot of talk but not see a lot of action. This is where we're at. So now we have today the press conference. Dr. Oz speaking just a few minutes ago on this issue where, let me see if I can find the right one here. I have a lot of tabs open with all the audio clips we've been pulling throughout the day and last night. Dr. Oz saying this on what the plan is to freeze a lot of these funding.
For many of you, maybe the most important is we're going to, for the first time, take a massive action to defer funds to a state. Let's start with this Medicaid program in Minnesota, which serves pregnant women. Medicaid takes care of our children. 53% of kids are born into poverty. They're supported through Medicaid. Disadvantaged seniors, individual disabilities. It's unponderable that you would take advantage of these precious programs. Yet they're putting it at risk, all of it, by stealing the money. So it's our duty to preserve Medicaid, and what we're going to do is identify the scammers, which we have done in Minnesota. We've identified that they've hijacked, in particular, a certain part of the Minnesota Medicaid system. Said differently, and I'll just put the numbers out there, it's going to be $259 million of deferred payments.
Whoa, $259 million of deferred payments. A quarter, just to put, this is one state. This is Minnesota. This is not the largest state in the nation. $250 million that's going to the state of Minnesota, and you can imagine the amount of fraud that they've just openly accepted. And even the leaders in Minneapolis, by the way, openly accepting that, yeah, you know, we don't know who's qualified, who's not qualified. We just get this population, particularly right now, the focus has been the Somali population, not to pick on them anymore, but just as an example, the Somali population comes in, 70% of them are on some type of Medicare, Medicaid services, food stamps. They're not contributing to the American culture, not contributing to the American dream anyway. They're just coming here, getting on food stamps, getting on Medicare and Medicaid services when they don't necessarily need it nor qualify for it. And they openly have the government local system to say, hey, welcome aboard. Here's your American slip. Here's how you apply for this stuff. And here's how you get on the program. That's not okay. That's not acceptable, and we're going to stop it, and that's what Dr. Oz is announcing today.
For Medicaid to Minnesota, which we're announcing as I speak to Governor Walz and his team. That's based on an audit of the last 3 months of 2025. Restated, $250 million is not going to be paid this month to Minnesota for its Medicaid claims. Now that's $250 million of money. That's your money. It's your taxpayer money. And these home and community-based services, which again are services that are typically things you would do for your family, but for whatever reason your family is not there to provide them, are very hard to audit. And for that reason, there's been a lot of slippage. The guardrails have not been well maintained, and if you're not serious about the integrity of the program, you'll see these problems happening in your state, which is why Minnesota's not alone, although they're the first to receive this action. These high-growth areas of fraud are difficult to police, so we require the states to take these issues seriously. This $250 million deferment is hopefully going to get on the radar screen for the state of Minnesota and make sure they are responsive to our requests. We did what any honest and patient-focused agency would do. We have notified the state and that we will give them the money, but we're going to hold it and only release it after they propose and act on a comprehensive corrective action plan to solve the problem. If Minnesota fails to clean up the systems, the state will rack up $1 billion of deferred payments this year. Governor Walz has 60 days, sir, to respond to our letter. And if providers and beneficiaries are worried about getting their money and services, please call your governor. These are services the governor has already paid for. We are just not reimbursing the state. And to make it clear, there is a rainy day fund in Minnesota, so we are very confident that people will not be hurt in Minnesota. This is not a problem with the people of Minnesota. It's a problem with the leadership of Minnesota and other states who do not take Medicaid preservation seriously.
All right, so that's Dr. Oz. That was just literally moments ago before we came on the air as he made that announcement. We're holding close to $250 million in a monthly payment to the state of Minnesota because of the fraud that's going on. This is just one example of what we're about to see across the nation. Now, again, they have the rainy day fund, and for those that don't know how this program works, the Medicare Medicaid services, the state government funds it, and then they reimburse it from the government or the federal government. They send the invoice, we send them the reimbursement, and therefore it's essentially you and I, the federal taxpayer dollar, that's going in to subsidize all of these social programs. And oh, by the way, these social programs that are 80% of the entire federal budget.
Andy, the military is the most expensive.
No, it's not. It is Social Security, Medicare and Medicaid, SNAP programs. It is these social programs that are bankrupting the nation. It's that part of that mandatory spending category that we're never allowed to touch. We're never allowed to look at. It grows exponentially every single year, and Democrats get mad when we mention that because they like to say that we're a bunch of warmongers that spend all the money on the military, and that's just not true. It's really not true. So this is the beginning. And if it's allowed to happen, which it's obviously going to happen, it's going to be challenged in court, but it's going to be allowed to happen because guess what? You can spend it, and if you don't like this, call the governor. Governor Tim Walz being put on the spot here because he said that he's been aware of this and trying to solve it for a long time, but they just kind of let it go underway. Well, we'll do a 10-year plan to try and figure it out later on. And they just kind of defer it, kick the can down the road, and we've spent enough money on fraudulent waste in this nation. It's not going to happen anymore. Donald Trump said it. J.D. Vance not going to let it slip through the cracks like Kamala Harris did, being the immigration czar during that administration, and we're going to see a heck of a lot of change. Maybe, just maybe, we can see some major cutting in federal government spending if we're just spending a whole bunch of crap on fraud that we don't need to be doing in the first place. Lots more coming up. Stay here.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
When America builds, the world follows. Our energy powered the 20th century. We've set the standard for generations, and we never waited for permission. But now, we're being held back. Outdated rules, endless delays. Without permitting reform, Washington's red tape is slowing us down while other nations race ahead. It doesn't have to be this way. We can clear the way for energy that's affordable, reliable, and built right here. Because what's built here is felt here. Lower costs, more jobs, stronger communities. That's what permitting reform makes possible. Energy didn't just shape our country, it powered the American dream. And with our innovation, we can lead the 21st century. Congress has a choice. Build America's energy future or risk falling behind. Tell Congress, pass permitting reform now.
Miss any part of the show? Well, don't worry. Now's your chance to go find the podcast and listen to as much of the Voice of Reason as you'd like. As the show continues to grow all across the nation with great radio affiliates, we also continue to grow as one of the top conservative podcasts, ranked 5th on the MillionPodcast.com Best 50 Conservative Leadership Podcasts in the nation, and number 1 on FeedSpot.com's 30 Best Conservative Talk Shows in the country. The show continues to grow each and every day. Just find us on any of your favorite podcasting sites at The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser. Hey, did you know that you can have multiple different networks on one single smartphone? Well, with Patriot Mobile, you can. It's time for you to sign up for the Patriot Mobile primary phone plan with plans as low as $15 a month, where you can have 2 numbers and 2 networks on one single phone. And right now, if you sign up using the promo code REASON, you can get an entire month absolutely free. It's the Patriot Mobile One plan. 1 phone, 2 numbers, and 2 networks. And it's all at patriotmobile.com/reason. Again, patriotmobile.com, and use the promo code REASON.
What fuels the freedom to dream bigger? How did 2 guys in a cramped California garage reimagine the phone? We put the power of the universe at our fingertips. At Americans for Prosperity, we believe greatness can happen anywhere. We just need freedom and the opportunity to make it real. But today, with a rigid system stifling progress, limiting creativity, and holding us back. That's why at AFP, we offer solutions that tackle the most critical challenges facing our country, so there's nothing standing in the way of America's next breakthrough. Because what we build today doesn't just shape the future, it defines it. How will you be defined? Take your first step today with Americans for Prosperity.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Switch today and get 1 month of service absolutely free by going to patriotmobile.com/reason.
When reason meets radio. This is the voice of reason with Andy Hooser.
And if we're able to find enough of that fraud, we will actually have a balanced budget overnight. It'll go very quickly. That's the kind of money you're talking about. We'll balance our budget. The Somali pirates who ransacked Minnesota remind us that there are large parts of the world where bribery, corruption, and lawlessness are the norm, not the exception. Importing these cultures through unrestricted immigration and open borders brings those problems right here to the USA. And it is the American people who pay the price in higher medical bills, car insurance rates, rent, taxes, and perhaps most importantly, crime. We will take care of this problem. We're going to take care of this problem. We are not playing games.
We are not playing games. President Donald Trump last night not playing games. J.D. Vance and ahead to this thing to try and get rid of the fraud. And I love how he includes in there the Somali pirates and just a way of culture. I know triggering the other side, man, they got so angry at that one. Oh, Ilhan Omar, she was so mad.
We're all going to die because of you.
That's right, yelling and screaming and berating and just doing what she does as a typical Democrat that's, just losing their mind and going through a mental health crisis. So I guess there's that. But you know what? We're going to stop the fraud, and I think most people are happy about that. We'll talk about it again here in just a moment. I want to tell you about my friends over at Lean. Everybody's talking about weight loss injections because the results have been super dramatic, and it works by lowering blood sugar and reducing appetite. But what if you're looking to lose weight and not be interested in the painful weekly injections or have some of the pretty radical side effects? That's why doctors created the weight loss supplement of Lean, and the results are pretty remarkable. I've been taking it since January. I feel really great. Not that I needed more energy, but I have a lot more energy. I'm already down a belt size or two. It feels great. Studied ingredients in Lean have been shown to lower your blood sugar, burn fat by converting it to energy, and curb your appetite and cravings, so you're just not as hungry. But Lean is not for the casual dieter with only a few pounds to lose. Doctors at Brickhouse Nutrition created Lean for the frustrated dieter that wants to lose 10 pounds or more. Let's get you started. When you first order, you get 20% off your first order and free shipping, so you can add Lean to your healthy diet and your exercise plan. Use my promo code for my radio listeners at TakeLean.com and use the promo code REASON, REASON, for your discount. 20% off and free rush shipping. Go to TakeLean.com, use the promo code REASON. Again, TakeLean.com, use the promo code REASON. Do that with me this year for your New Year's resolution. All right, so the big question that I know you're asking, I can feel your intensity through the radio waves right now. You're asking, wait a second, well, we said that we were going to stall a lot of the SNAP benefits to many states from the U.S. Department of Agriculture from the cabinet meeting that happened back in like November, December. That still hasn't happened by freezing the SNAP programs until some of the states actually turn over the data on who's actually the recipients there as well, trying to get rid of some of the fraud. And I say, I know we need to work on that as well because we have to freeze those payments, but the Medicare Medicaid services are just a little bit different. Unlike the SNAP benefits, like we mentioned, the Medicaid program, for example, is a statewide program. The states pay for it and then send the receipt to the federal government to get reimbursed on these. And according to the Obamacare, Barack Obama's plan was we're going to reimburse Medicaid at a 90% rate. These Medicaid services, federal government program, also going through the states as well. Slightly different than a fully federal program that the states just kind of pass through and allowing these individuals to have, but really are kind of hands off on it other than collecting the data, taking the applications, and so on and so forth. So a slightly different program here, and they're saying, you guys are going to pay for it up front. You already are. You have your rainy day fund as a state in Minnesota. If you want to continue to pay for it and do the fraudulent stuff and not change anything, all the power to you. But we're going to withhold our end, until you prove that the fraud is actually cleaned up. You put the guardrails back on, you go through your process, and you have 60 days to figure it out. Now, Tim Walz is going to throw a fit about that. There's going to be a lawsuit, but this guy's already said that he's been aware of it for years. He says that he's been working on it for a long time, and therefore he should already have a plan on how to fix this fraud. But $250 million, that's it for one state. Imagine how much money we can start saving when we clean up this fraud. And Donald Trump says, we're just not going to take this anymore. That is not our way of culture, and we're not going to accept it.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. Fighting for conservative principles seems more difficult all the time. The progressive left finds new and creative ways to limit freedom, abuse power, and trample the Constitution each and every day. That's why we need the knowledge, resources, and common sense to push back. And that's where we can help. Head to our website at HooserReason.com. There you can find our latest blog discussing topical issues of the day. Let us know your thoughts on current events with different surveys and chat rooms. And keep track of what I might be doing or where I may be speaking. Plus, when you head to the website, you can always get great deals and different offers from all of our great radio partners. Finally, if you want more of the show, you can find our podcasts with all of our great episodes and your favorite guests. And make sure to check out the latest Voice of Reason infomercials and maybe some other special content. And it's all because of you being part of the Hoosier-holic family. Let's continue to fight for conservative common sense principles together by going to HooserReason.com. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do.
Mid-America Business.
Truth, reason, and common sense. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
All right, welcome back into the program. Great to have you today for a middle of the week. It is a Wednesday, right? Wednesday, my dude.
It is Wednesday, my dude.
That's right. The press conference still ongoing right now with Vice President J.D. Vance and Dr. Oz talking about some of the fraud. Let's go back live to that for just a moment.
What number is realizable in terms of savings? And you've mentioned California, you've said that you're going to move on to other states. Can you just give us a kind of snapshot of where you see that, and are all of the states that you're going after and where you see these problems ruled by Democratic? I mean, California and Minnesota are both Democratic-run states, so just give us a little bit of a preview.
Well, you said ruled by Democrats. We didn't use that word. You did. But here's what I'd say. $300 billion in the grand scheme of how much the federal government spends on healthcare services, it sounds like a ton of money. It's actually, the federal government spends well over $1 trillion in providing medical services to the American people. And based on what we've seen, based on the amount of services that we've seen that have been billed that are fraudulent, and also based on the fact that in a number of blue states, and this is true as far as I know only in blue states, where you have illegal aliens encouraged to get on the Medicaid program, we actually think $300 billion may be conservative. And we certainly, our ambition here is to get as much of that money back for the American taxpayer as possible. Again, we're taking the social safety net. We're taking something that exists for the benefit of people who can't pay for medicine on their own. We want to help our fellow Americans. We can't do that if those programs are being defrauded by people who either shouldn't be here in the first place or have the legal right to be here but are committing criminal acts by defrauding these systems.
Well, not only that, it bogs down the system. All right, we'll go ahead and, well, I guess, hold on. Dr. Oz wants to chime in here. Hang tight.
Assessment of estimated 5% fraud in all healthcare, not just federally funded healthcare. So it's 5% of the total, roughly $6 trillion. We spend almost close to $2 trillion, $1.8 trillion of federal monies. So the federal portion will be about $100 billion. And we believe much of that would be achievable. It's not fraud, it's fraud, waste, and abuse altogether.
Okay. All right. There we go. We'll come back to that maybe a little bit later if they continue on. But look, we're starting to realize that all the puzzle pieces are coming together, right? We have the immigration issue. We have the illegal immigration issue. We have the cartel issue. We have the organized crime issue. We have the violent crime issue. And then we have the fraud issue. And we're starting to realize it's all coming together. It's all working together. We have this entire elaborate system from whatever name you want to coin it, the deep state, the shadow government, the elitists, the Illuminati, whatever you want to call it. We have this elaborate system. We have this funneling system of importing as many people into the country that don't really need to be here, that shouldn't have come here in the first place, that are coming here illegally, that we just for the longest time looked the other way. These aren't the joy you're looking for. Completely ignore the issue of what's going on, set them up on social programs, the government funds it, and then we have this pyramid scheme to where we have people benefiting from this for a really long time, which is absolutely insane. The Trump administration calling out the fraud and the shutdown of the government because intentionally wanting to end some of the security measures that we have in this country with DHS, with TSA, border security, and more.
We can never forget that many in this room not only allowed the border invasion to happen before I got involved, but indeed they would do it all over again if they ever had the chance. If they ever got elected, they would open up those borders to some of the worst criminals anywhere in the world. The only thing standing between Americans and a wide open border right now is President Donald J. Trump and our great Republican patriots in Congress. Thank you. Thank you. As we speak, Democrats in this chamber have cut off all funding for the Department of Homeland Security. It's all cut off. It's all cut off. They have instituted another Democrat shutdown, the first one costing us 2 points on GDP. 2 points we lost on GDP, which probably made them quite happy, actually.
Yeah, intentionally done, for sure.
Now they have closed the agency responsible for protecting Americans from terrorists and murderers. Tonight I'm demanding the full and immediate restoration of all funding for the border security, homeland security of the United States, and also for helping people clean up their snow.
All right. By the way, did you know about that? Apparently, the federal program that Zoran Mamdani, when he tried to say, we're not the ones that are requiring you to have your 2 parts of identification in order to get paid the $30 an hour to shovel snow in New York City, it's a federal program. Apparently, that part of it is also under Department of Homeland Security. That is frozen, which means they're not getting their money right now for the city in order to pay those individuals that are shoveling the snow. So that's up for the city as well. Hey, communist Zoran Mamdani, you wanted to raise your city budget. You might as well do so now, right? Yeah. That's pretty crazy. Now, at the same time, I want to go to a What's Trending story.
What's trending today?
As we talk about the ongoing reforms of ICE and Democrats trying to blame Republicans for not wanting to reform ICE, Republicans blaming Democrats for wanting to hold up funding for Department of Homeland Security in general. We've already split it off from the minibus and the rest of the appropriations. We don't need to split it up even more so and try and narrow it down. Pass the damn bill, and then you can try to reform it later on. But as we work on ICE, we work on deportations of criminal illegal aliens, then apparently we've gotten headline news today from CBS News, a new federal judge making a decision regarding the Department of Homeland Security and their policy allowing immigration authorities to deport migrants to third countries that are not their own without first giving them notice or the opportunity to object, saying that move is currently unlawful. Now, as you know, Democrats have loved to use the court system to try and block the Trump administration to do anything they want to and pretty much be that full stop or that first line of defense against the Trump administration. And now a new federal judge, even after the Supreme Court said no more nationwide injunctions, has done what? A nationwide injunction. According to the U.S. District Judge Brian Murphy out of the state of Massachusetts, they sided with the group of non-citizens who filed the class action lawsuit against the Department of Homeland Security. That filing happened last year, by the way, ruling that the Trump administration's policies regarding third world removals must be set aside. Murphy paused on his ruling for 15 days to give the Trump administration time to appeal the decision. So apparently we can't deport people to places. I don't know. How does that make sense? A third country, so originally where they're from or where they came from in the first place? Because you could be born somewhere, be living somewhere else. Where do you send them back to if you're deporting them? I mean, if you're going through the whole train and the whole bus and the caravan of people going all through Central America, all up through Mexico and coming to the southern border, where do you send them back to? Their home country can be up for objective point. So I'm not quite sure what this ruling actually looks like. But again, nationwide injunctions coming from Democrats just because they can to try and slow down and spite the Trump administration. Speaking of, as we look at the State of the Union last night, the big news that's going on throughout the day today on numerous different fronts, we've now essentially set the preliminary stage for the platforms of the parties for midterm elections. We have Donald Trump that's made it very clear of the patriotism of making America great again, focusing on American citizens, not anybody else. Donald Trump making that very clear last night, asking individuals, hey, are you going to stand up to support Americans, not illegal aliens, as your priority for being a member of Congress and being an elected member of Congress? Democrats not standing for the minute and 51-second standing ovation that Republicans did. Democrats completely silent on that issue. Donald Trump calling them out last night.
Isn't that a shame? You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up. You should be ashamed of yourself. That is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country, they're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
You should be ashamed of yourself. The Democrats, bickering hens out there that are just yelling and bantering and screaming their heads off, thinking that they're doing something productive somehow. Hakeem Jeffries said it before the State of the Union, and he said there's either two options, either don't show up or show up and protest peacefully. They obviously did not protest peacefully. They were yelling, and again, the bickering hens, they're all angry. Al Green walking out 3 minutes into the State of the Union, which I found kind of ironic. And then you had the rebuttal, the response to the State of the Union from the governor of Virginia. Then you had the Democrats holding their rally that was down the street outside their, what did they call it? The We the People State of the Union. It was essentially a rally that was pretty absurd, and we can talk about that if we have some time a little bit later, but it was all just a bunch of nonsense. Absolute nonsense. And I got to give credit, again, the guy that you would think out of anybody that would be the most insane, but he actually is the most rational right now. John Fetterman joining Fox News earlier today saying that he was ashamed of what the party actually did.
I mean, now it's, the constant kinds of yelling and screaming and holding up signs and for doing all these things. I don't care if it's a Republican or Democrat as a president. Just don't do that. Don't do that. Respect the office, regardless who's in that. And now for me, it's like now when half the people in my party haven't showed up, and then some of them have chosen to just yell and say and scream during all of it, I just don't think that's what we want. And I don't believe, as a Democrat, I think like dancing frogs really moves the ball for us as a party either.
Yeah, no, of course not. No, John Fetterman has it on, and they just don't get that. So now that the platforms have been set, we still don't quite know what the Democrats stand for, other than they're trying to bring back affordability without saying the term of actual affordability. That happened with the response from the State of the Union asking about the economy and trying to blame tariffs for high costs and all that. It was a bunch of garbage because it's not true. Inflation rates are down 2.4% for the month of January, lowest since the last Trump administration. So you can't say that the economy is not getting better and that things are becoming more affordable when wages are slowly beginning to catch up to the inflation that we've had over the past 4 years. And we got to keep inflation as stagnant as possible. These guys are just insane. They're belligerent. They're insane, they're emotional, and they're not making any coherent statements whatsoever on what they actually stand for. So we know that. We just have to act on our end. Donald Trump and the admin already is. Congress, get on board, man. Pass the SAVE Act. Codify the Trump agenda. Ban some of this insanity that Donald Trump called for last night, and let's get her done. And if we do so, it would be a slam dunk for the midterm season for 2026. Lots more coming up. Stay here.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Big government is broken. Every year, politicians fail to pass a budget as the deficit continues to grow. Every month, unelected bureaucrats pile on rules no one voted for, strangling our economy. And every day, DC's broken system gets in the way of the American dream. Washington isn't working, and the people pay the price. At Americans for Prosperity, we believe it's time to fix the system. Now, join the movement to make government work.
When it comes to something like sausage, I know you want the best quality, the best flavor, and the best in services. Andy Hooser here for J&S Smoked Snacks. And it's time for you to try their handcrafted sausage, made in small batches for freshness and seasoned with their signature blends. You won't find anything else like it. Make sure to try their one-of-the-kind dill pickle sausage made with real pickles, or spice things up with my favorite, the jalapeno cheddar sausage. Taste the difference today at jssmokedsnacks.com and tell them I sent you.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Switch today and get 1 month of service absolutely free by going to patriotmobile.com/reason.
What fuels the freedom to dream bigger? Our country's greatest breakthroughs were born from bold ideas and the ability to take one small step forward. At Americans for Prosperity, freedom and opportunity find their defenders. Because our country's next giant leap is just around the corner. Are you ready to step up?
Hey, the live show may be almost over today, but it doesn't have to be for you. As always, enjoy the Voice of Reason with our daily podcast by finding the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser on any of your favorite podcasting sites. Just find us, subscribe, have it automatically downloaded, and listen at your convenience whenever you want to bring some more reason into your day. And a lot of people are doing it. Also, you can always find the video of the show, along with articles, additional commentary, and maybe a few sarcastic remarks by following us on our social media. Stay up to date with everything going on with the show, including upcoming guests, breaking news stories, interesting articles, and maybe some memes. Help us in the ongoing battle with censorship and shadow banning from social media by following us on the social media at Hooser Reason on all of our social media sites. For all the social media links, podcast links, contact information, or just general information of the show, go to our website at HooserReason.com. There you can listen live every day, read our latest monthly blog, find our radio affiliate list, or even listen to our latest infomercials and special content. Plus, you can always reach out to the program by sending me a message on social media, emailing us at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com, or sending an email through our website at HooserReason.com. Whether it's content on the show, whether it's a guest that you've liked or disliked, or whether you want to disagree with me, and disagreement's always appreciated. While you're there, make sure to sign up for our monthly newsletter. Each month, you'll get the latest update on the show, updates from the Hooser Media Network, and our latest blog discussing topical issues of the day. Finally, if you want to help support the show, become a member of our Patreon site and help us fight for the cause of truth, reason, and common sense every day, and get more of the same by becoming the ultimate Hoosierholic. Get additional interviews that sometimes we don't always get to air on the radio. Hear our special segments or even our infomercials before anyone else, and have a chance to chat with other great Hoosierholics from all over. By becoming a Patreon subscriber, you're not only helping the fight for conservative values, you're helping us get more content and information out through the Hooser Media Network. Find out more information online at HooserReason.com. Lastly, follow and support all of our partners with the show. The Voice of Reason has been growing more and more every year, and it's because of so many great partners helping us get the message out to you. From show partners to local radio affiliates in your area to streaming sites, podcasting sites, and more, we have so many supporters and listeners now than ever before, and we want to thank you. It's time to bring back common sense, and we do it right here every day with the Voice of Reason.
America's safe space for common sense. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Last night was not America's State of the Union. It was Donald Trump's state of delusion.
I'm fresh out of an ICE prison in Minneapolis.
I defy Trump and his authoritarian project by standing in joyful, radical, peaceful resistance with the Portland Frog Brigade!
I'm not here for any foolishness.
No pueden encarcelarnos a todas.
I've been arrested 3 times by ICE over absurdity.
And to press this country to...
The border! I stuck in the border. Go Trump! Go Trump! Hey, Murphy, you're a scumbag.
Thanks, man. Thanks, buddy.
But they can't erase a movement.
We just go on vibes, and the vibes were immaculate.
Let's make room, make room.
I did not drive all the way from Alexandria in my Honda Odyssey minivan.
Oh, man. Look, if this is the state of the Democrat Party, then we're going to be okay in the midterm season. That was the rally that happened outside the quote-unquote state of, or the We the People State of the Union, the rally that Joy Reid was emceeing, and they had all these different people. They had, what was it called? The Portland Frog Brigade? Is that what it's called? Hold on, I brought up the site because I couldn't believe it. It's the Portland Frog Brigade, which they have their own website. I don't know if you want to go to it or not. Meeting's a little weird. That's kind of like a furry thing going on, but whatever. Hey, not judging. You do you, baby. PortlandFrogBrigade.com is the website, is a, quote, nonviolent art activist collective. We love the warmth of collectivism, right? The nonviolent art activist collective that models and advocates for peaceful creative dissent. Okay. All right. What it was people in blow-up frog costumes, like the inflatable frog costumes that you can just wear. There's a whole bunch of them just on stage. That's what it was. And this lady was like, oh, the Frog Brigade, they're here, and they're protesting with me, and I'm an elected official standing in front of a bunch of inflatable frogs. That is that's the Democrat Party. The dude with the really rough and gruff voice, that whoever that was a guy dressed up as a giraffe. And apparently he's been one of the protesters, the Watch ICE people that's been arrested multiple times for ridiculous protesting that just got out of hand. And I've been arrested for nothing more. Blah, 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 blah. That was what happened. There's zero generated activity on social media outside of making fun of these people. And if you want to compare the two, we have the President of the United States that's saying we're going to end fraud, the patriotism, 1776, which I loved, by the way. He just said pretty much 1776 has not gone away. We continue to defend freedom every single day. That was beautiful. I loved it. And then you have these guys out there that are singing weird songs and that are having inflatable frogs and that are dressed up as giraffes, and they want to be taken seriously. The party that wants to be taken seriously, that's what they're about. To the point as well, by the way, and I got to find the right clip here, Chris Murphy, elected official, was out there right at the beginning and just said the most random garbage going after ICE.
Fair State is going to talk to you tonight about the state of immigrant and refugee America. ICE is out of control.
Yeah.
It is disappearing legal immigrants. It is tear gassing elementary schools. It is murdering American citizens.
Whoa, tear gassing. What are we talking about right now? They just say things. The fear-mongering, the hyperbolic paranoia is absolutely insane. It's really sad that that's the level that we've gotten to. President Trump, though, wrapped up his speech last night, I think, beautifully, and this shows the difference between the Frog Brigade and this.
There is no challenge Americans cannot overcome, no frontier too vast for us to conquer, no dream too bold for us to chase, no horizon too distant for us to claim. For our destiny is written by the hand of providence, and these first 250 years were just the beginning. From the rugged border towns of Texas to the heartland villages of Michigan, from the sun-kissed shores of Florida to the endless fields of the Dakotas, and from the historic streets of Philadelphia to right here in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., the golden age of America is upon us. The revolution that began in 1776 has not ended. It still continues because the flame of liberty and independence still burns in the heart of every American patriot. And our future will be bigger, better, brighter, bolder, and more glorious than ever before. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
You know what? There's a clear difference between the two parties right now, and I think the choice is pretty clear and obvious for most of us rational, sane Americans out there. God bless you. Back at it again tomorrow for a Thursday to get ready to wrap up the week. And what the heck this layout looks like moving forward. Now, until then, be your own voice of reason. It is the voice of reason. I'm Andy Hooser. We'll see you back on the radio soon. Bye. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. You know, when I get off the air every day, the battle for me against limited government, censorship, and even unfactual content is far from over. That's why now I'm so happy to say that the Hooser Media Network is giving you more opportunity to catch the voice of reason along with other great shows and podcasts. It's been a long time in the works, and now you can finally enjoy more great content, services, and topical shows. We're the safe space for alternative talk, information, and ideas that the mainstream media absolutely hates. From holistic and alternative medicine, discussions on religion and spirituality, pure entertainment shows, and of course yours truly with the voice of reason. Plus, we offer numerous media services, including helping you set up your own podcast. Become your own voice of reason and bring your expertise to any fun issue or topic. For information on all of our shows, links to podcasts, each show website or social media link, or to find out about everything we do to challenge the mainstream establishment, visit our website at HooserMedia.com. Again, that's HooserMedia.com, the future of media.